I'm Karen Slager. I'm with the Northwest Indiana Storytellers. We're here at Deep River County Park recording some stories that we'd like to share with you. One of the stories that I was reminded of when we got here today was the story of Matryoshka. Now, when I was a little girl growing up, my favorite thing was when my mom would bring a Jack and Jill magazine home from the grocery store, because every month there was a story about a wicked witch who lived in Russia whose name was Baba Yaga. Oh, I loved those stories. And the story of Matryoshka is a story about the wicked witch Baba Yaga. Katya was a little girl that lived in the deep woods with her grandfather. He had everything they needed pretty much in the woods, and he carved wooden bowls and wooden spoons, and every so often if they needed something from town, Katya would walk all the way to the village and she would sell what her grandfather had carved, and then she would bring back the things that she needed. Now one day, as Katya was on her way back home from town, she encountered an old woman who was sitting by the side of the road. "Child, do you have any food you could spare? I'm so hungry." Now Katya was a very kind-hearted young girl, and she said, "Of course." And she sat down next to the old woman, and she took out of her pocket some cheese and some bread that she had saved for her walk back home to her grandfather's house. The old woman was so grateful. She ate the cheese and the bread, and when she was ready to go, she said, "Oh, child, here. This is for you. Her name is Matryoshka. I carved her myself." And Katya took the doll and put the doll in her pocket and said goodbye and started the rest of the way home. When she looked back, the old woman had already disappeared. Now Katya hadn't gone very far down the road when it started to snow. Now it wasn't just a little bit of a snowstorm. No, this was one of those great, big, huge snowstorms, and the snow was blowing straight across in front of Katya, and the flakes were so huge she couldn't see her hand when she held it out in front of herself. Katya was lost in the woods, and she was afraid she would never see her grandfather again. Now finally, just ahead, Katya saw a light through the snow, and she decided to walk toward the light because surely there was someone there that could help her. When Katya came close enough to see, it was a cottage, but it wasn't like any cottage she'd ever seen before.